Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed on this Wednesday, October 30th. Good to have you for another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. Thanks for joining us wherever you are across the globe. You won't be disappointed. We have lots to see and lots to do and lots to tell you about. We're going to do some reviews of the Barbados Food and Run Festival that just concluded. And from all accounts, it was fantastic for all involved. So a special shout out to everybody over at the BTMI and everybody who played a role. I have to say a special shout out to Chef Adrian. I called him last week and he said, can't talk right now, busy, busy, busy. He was preparing some great food for you if you went. So we'll hear more about that. We're going to look at oysters under the stars and how that went. And maybe on another day, we'll take a look at some of the other events as well. So you feel as though you were there if you weren't. And if you were, you get to reminisce once again. The Human Resources Management Association of Barbados, they're back with us today. And of course, every single Wednesday, we love to look at and talk about human resources and the way it has changed, because that's how we're engaging. AI, those are the letters everybody's running with, but what does it mean for the average worker? We will be examining that on the heels of a highly successful conference from HERMAB in 2024, where they examined human and technology and where they intersect. Also on today's show, if you think you're the next big filmmaker or actor or actress, we're going to tell you about an upcoming casting call that you can be a part of. So put your acting boots on and get ready to be a part of that. Plus, there's something called the Pork Festival coming up, the Pelican Pork Festival. Bruce Rowe et al. Will be in to talk more about that. But we wanted to start today's show by celebrating some friends of the show, some friends in production and broadcasting. It's a very small community here in Barbados, and it's wonderful to have with us the major people behind 13 Degrees North Productions as they turn double digits, 10. A special good morning to Kerry Dawson and Kirk Dawson rather, and Kerry Birch, who are co-founders and executive directors and producers of 13 Degrees North Productions. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've never had to introduce you two so formally in my life.
Right.
Yes. But it's good to have you here, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, let's rewind. We really have to start at the very beginning. 10 years is an awesome feat to be out on your own. I think that's the important part. So take us back more than 10 years ago, because once you officially get started, it means you've been kind of drudging at it for a little while. And then you determine, okay, I found my footing. I can make a go of it. So take us back a few years and talk to us about what the move was like to be able to kind of step out on your own to do production.
Okay, so my production story started when I was 14, to tell the truth. Essentially, I knew this was something that I wanted to get into. I knew film was something I wanted to get into. And it was my dream to have my own production company and really and truly my own studio. So we're not there yet, but maybe we'll get there. I met Kurt probably 14 years ago, and we were working on international productions together under another person. And the idea came about that this was something that we could actually do here using our skills, because we were utilizing our skills for somebody else. So we thought this is something that we could do. And then we also wanted to start 13 as a way we wanted to teach people about Barbados. So when we started 13, our idea was not only the production facilitation, which would have been helping the international productions, but also to tell stories through documentary making, which we found to be a little hard.
A little challenging.
A little challenging. So we kept with the production facilitation until we got to a point where we're 10 now, and now looking at moving into original content.
Well, that's beautiful. And that's a long story to say that this is something that you wanted from such a young age, and you were able to pursue it and really grab it with both hands.
Yeah.
Now, Kirk is another story. I met Kirk when he was maybe 6. I'm kidding. Like,
11.
when
I was 11.
You were 11 and I was maybe a little older.
A little older.
But where does your production story start?
Good morning, Barbados.
Morning.
In the halls of Louis Link Secondary, actually.
Nice stuff.
I don't know if you remember me being the guy running around with the speakers, setting up for full assembly, and Daisy Davis. Daisy, that was his. I think his last name was Davis too as well. Putting up the 2 speakers for full assembly. My production life started from then, and then going into sound officially after secondary school, and then that leading to digital rising stars, basically in a nutshell, and also then being on set as a generator tech for a lot of German films that were being shot here in the late 1990s and early 2000s, and then that led to, from doing those German shoots to meeting Kerry and getting to forming 13 Degrees North, and here we are.
Well, what are some of the early productions that you did as 13? She has to think.
Yeah.
Like,
It's been 10 years.
Let me cast my mind back.
It's been 10 years. Okay, so one of the first ones that we did was actually for the close brethren community. It was called Voices of the Caribbean, and it was the first video production that they had done ever in the world. Because if people know the close brethren community, they're a Christian community, and they don't watch TV. They don't listen to the radio, or at least that was, the way before. And they had hired us to do a visual album for them. So that was one of our earlier ones. And what else?
Right, and then from there, it then went into Married to Medicine, early. When we actually started, we started still on the international.
Yeah.
Still looking at focusing on the international stage as well.
Vogue magazine.
Then we did
was
Vogue
one of
magazine,
our
correct.
first ones.
Yeah, that was one of our first ones. With Merck and Marcus. If you're watching, you know who Merck and Marcus is. They're the ones who really made Vogue. Then on the local front, we did a lot of stuff for the BTMI in the beginning too as well.
IDB.
And IDB. And then from there, then that just springboarded into the international platform, ended up being more a Bravo TV networks, and we've been working with them now for a good while, actually.
What's it like working together as a husband-wife team?
Hard.
Though? I mean, let me finish my question, Kirk, and it was for Carrie, by the way.
But fun.
Yeah. What's it like working together as a husband and wife team? Because, I mean, like, is there an opportunity to kind of say, okay, work is finished? Because, I mean, you're together all the time.
You have to make that cutoff point, but it's hard. It's very hard because your mind is always thinking of the business, or, like, if you have an idea at 11 o'clock in the night or 12 o'clock or something, it's like, oh, that's an idea, or maybe I want to tell you about it. Well, mostly it's Kurt. I'm usually the one saying, stop talking to me. Like, I did this all day. But it's hard, but it's fun at the same time, because you're in a partnership with a person that understands the full gamut of what you do. And working in production is hard, as you will know, Tisha, and we have long hours. And to have somebody who works within the same thing, who understands those hours, understands how demanding it could be, is really a blessing.
If I'm honest, you've been blessed to be able to work with a lot of people internationally, but I don't think that people here fully understand the depth and cost of production. So I find when it comes to production, a lot of people want to kind of haggle the price. They feel as though, oh, this is so expensive. You're just pointing and shooting. They don't really understand everything that has to go into that final product that you see. Has that been a challenge for you to be able to kind of bring people along and let them see, listen, this is not some two-bit thing that you can just run and go with, particularly with the advancement of technology, where there's so many people who are now online stars.
Yeah, so it has been challenging, but because we like to educate, that becomes a major part of what we do. So, well, some people might think, yes, you just turn it with a camera, or you could just use your cell phone, point, shoot, and put it in the computer, and voila, it happens. Education becomes a very important role within explaining pricing, within explaining, okay, you need to make an artist.
Yeah.
There needs to be catering, because we don't want people leaving and running off to Chafet and, well, we trying to shoot something and you going on the road, you might get a flat tire, or an accident may occur.
It takes away from the production.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we need people to be focused. Like, you have one role, one task, and that's why so many people make up production, because you're given that task to do, that specific task to do, and you execute it to the best of your ability, as opposed to trying to do multiple things and not being focused on the one thing that you really need to be focused on. And then we kind of liken it to, sometimes you have to liken it to sports for people to actually understand that there's a bowling coach. For example, let's use cricket as an analogy. There's a bowling coach. The bowling coach doesn't teach batting, right? Then they don't deal with everyday managerial skills or dealing with the accounts. There's an accounts department for that. The players go out there and play. And in production, it is the same thing. The camera operator isn't the makeup artist, isn't the chef,
Isn't the talent.
isn't the
Correct,
talent,
isn't the talent.
right?
Isn't the director. Isn't the producer.
Correct.
Yeah. Definitely very distinct roles.
So for us, over the last 10 years, it is
Yeah.
educating people. But now with the advent of the TikToks and the Instagrams and people becoming overnight success, then it becomes a little bit more challenging, because people generally feel, okay, yeah, I could just point my camera and shoot. But what we are now engaging, or looking to engage Barbadians and TikTok stars and understanding too, your content could look better with the correct lighting. You could get some more views with applied, I can say, camera direction, and not everything has to be shot the same way.
Carrie, you were recently involved with the production with Petra Roach, who used to be here at the BTMI with us in Barbados. She's moved on as head of the Grenada Tourist Board. And you were talking about the impact of the film industry, the economic impact of the film industry in this part of the world. Has your view changed from where you started 10 years ago about the impact you could have through film as compared to what you've been able to do, and how you look at it now?
No, my view hasn't changed. Essentially, the film industry, I think, is an industry that is slept on in the Caribbean, and is about to be awakened, I believe, because the international world is actually looking at the Caribbean as the next gem or the next hub of film. And when I was recently in Grenada, I was on the panel with Petra that was for the Grenada Film Festival, and I was telling everybody there that they need to get ready, basically, because once the films come, they're going to bring a certain amount of money. So the same way how Kurt was talking about the number of people it takes to make a production run, there are other services that people will need outside of just production. So when we're looking at films being made within the Caribbean space, whether it's people coming from overseas and doing a film, or Caribbean people coming together to do a film and going to a different country, what happens is that you're going to get job creation, because we're going to be able to hire people who work in the industry for the production. You're going to get people involved. Transportation is going to be involved. Catering is involved. If we're talking about international people coming into the space, we're talking about hotels, restaurants. People will be essentially living in your space for 7 to 8 weeks, sometimes even more. When I was there, I was able to, because we would have done below that in Grenada, so I was able to show some numbers. So for example, below that would have spent 1.5 million US in Grenada over the course of 7 to 8 weeks. And that went into those same things: accommodation, food, the local, because it didn't include the spend that of the crew that they brought in, but the local crew that we would have hired. It went into cleaning services, it went into location fees. So you see basically how film feeds into an economy. And imagine for them over there, there's tourism, where film also feeds into tourism, because if we're talking about bringing in people and they're staying in your hotels, we're also talking about people seeing a space and a location on screen and probably being able to say, well, I want to go there and visit that place. So tourism is their biggest earner.
Exchange earner.
Yeah. And 1.5 of that, of what they earned last year, which I think was like 58 million, came from below that. And after tourism is agriculture. And I think their agriculture earned last year 13 million. Now imagine if they had like 5 of below decks, in a year, then you're earning probably half of what agriculture earned, which means you have tourism, agriculture, and probably film. So there is something to be said about the film industry.
Absolutely. Now, you guys have mentioned quite a few international brands that we know of, global names, and one of the major things that you've done, I know, it is to your credit that you work so hard to be able to do Below Deck. And, that really is a feather in your cap. So that's something that you did. We featured you here on Morning Barbados for that. You've also been able to work with the highly popular Real Housewives franchise as well. What has that experience been like, Kirk?
Right. Now we are about to see season 14 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I am very proud to say that we've been producers of that. What has that been like? For us, working in that space is relatively normal. It's what we do. But it's always good to fly the Caribbean flag all the time, or the Barbadian flag high all the time. What I would say is, coming off of season 13, because Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has actually now been the most viewed reality series there is, at 4 million views per episode last year for season 13. And going into season 14, that was on everybody's mind, and we were like, okay, we have to make this season better than season 13. So season 14 is going to be full of drama. And that launches next month, November the 14th, to be exact. So always looking at making sure that whenever we are working on international productions, that the true essence of wherever we are based comes out. Is always a part of that's like our main mandate. That is, you have to experience the culture of where you are. And we absolutely love to do that and make sure that wherever we are, that the people who are on the ground are benefiting, whether it is knowledge exchange or, as Kerry was just talking about, the economic spend. It is always a case of hustling in your own little way, making sure that that foreign exchange ends up within the country.
I wish you guys the very best for the next 10.
Thank
And the next 10.
And the next 10.
It's always wonderful to see success among your peers, especially from, this little one, hard years at school days. And, I'm kidding, but we've had an opportunity to kind of work together on some projects through the years, and I've seen how you guys have grown. I commend you for being able to work together as a husband and wife team and still sit here. I'm still a little concerned about the distance on this couch. Kidding, people, kidding. But wonderful to have you in, and congratulations on this amazing success.
Thank you very much. And Tisha, we're going to send an invitation to you because we have an event coming up at the end of this month. Well, not this month.
November.
The end of November for filmmakers. So you can listen out for that one.
Yes, we're partnering with the Barbados Film and Television Association. So look out for that.
Yeah, he used to be president at one point in time, but now he's too busy for that kind of stuff. So, congrats again, guys.
Thank you.
Great to see you. So listen up for 13 Degrees North, and make sure you look up for all of those fantastic productions that they're working on and crews they're working with to continue to fly the Bajan flag and the Caribbean flag high wherever they go. Time for our first break on Morning Barbados. When we come back, we have something pretty exciting, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the community this Thursday.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 6:30. Every Wednesday we love to reach out to the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados to talk HR. Today's no different. Dawn Lovell joins us now. She is a training and development specialist. And we want to take a look today at equipping teens and early career professionals to navigate the workspace. We've been hearing so much talk about how different people are along generational lines and all different types of things. So I'm happy to have Dawn join us this morning to kind of work through the weeds and see if we can make some sense of everything that's going on. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tisha. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be here.
All right, it's good to have you as well. Now, first of all, I think a good place to start is navigating the workplace space for young people.
Yes.
Just out of school, just out of university, or maybe fresh out of SJPI, Barbados Community College. And here you are in a workspace with multi-generational, represented, multiple generations represented. So, what do you do? Where do you start?
Oh, my goodness. That's a great question, Tisha. And one of the things I've recognized after I've been working with youth for many years, young people, millennials, Gen Zs, and I've recognized that they have a bit of a challenge in that you're coming out of a school or a tertiary education and they do not understand the requirements of the workplace. They do not understand what's expected of them. They do not know what to expect. And it can present a challenge, particularly, as you said, because of the cross-generational lines. So they're coming into a workplace where they have bosses or managers or other colleagues that expect them to perform a particular way. But have they been taught that? You just came out of school, you just came out of university, you've gotten the theory, but you've not understood the practicality of operating in a workspace. And of course, having conversations with multiple HR professionals, and many of my friends are entrepreneurs who are employers. And I'm seeing that there's really a challenge, there's a gap that needs to be bridged in order for both parties to understand how to navigate that successfully together.
Where's the breakdown happening? Is it at the educational phase? Is it where we're hiring? Is it that we've changed our onboarding practices? Are we not thorough enough in communicating to new hires what we expect? Or is it that the education system is not teaching the type of, what we're hearing a lot, soft skills especially, that younger people need to be able to navigate these workspaces?
I think it's a bit of all of that. First of all, when you get to a particular part of life, you go to school, you learn your ABCs, you learn math, English, and all this stuff. But the life skills that are necessary to navigate life, because that's work life. So I believe that there is a gap there. No one is focusing on what we call those soft skills, understanding how to communicate better and more effectively, what is necessary for the workplace. And also you have work environments, and I think HR professionals have been doing a great job, because now, as you know, millennials and Gen Zs, they want a sense of belonging. It's not just a job for them anymore. For us, my generation, we worked, we understood that this was a job, and there are certain things that were expected, and we needed to, pay our bills and do stuff like that. So it didn't really matter to us as much, or we tolerated a lot of things. Gen Zs and millennials are not willing to do that. So the environment they're coming into is one where they want a sense of belonging, and there are many different dynamics there that I think that we need to have a little more conversation about and put the things in place to help them along the process.
How do we turn the tide?
Well, I believe a lot of these things cannot happen at a stage when a person is about to. We have to start this earlier. And that's one of the things I've been working on a project in order to bring them into a space where we equip them. Things like understanding what are your employee rights? What are the employer rights? What's the Employer Rights Act? What does that look like? How do I have a conversation with my boss? How do I ask good questions to get the answers that I need? How do I navigate conflict? So these are important things that I think we might have missed a bit of, or maybe not paid enough attention to, but that will facilitate them being more successful in the workplace.
All right. What are some of the very specific areas that you would say workplaces are having phenomenal challenges with?
Wow.
And I think it's both directions. For younger people, I hear people talking a lot about their lost generation, and they have all these challenges. They aren't able to function. They have challenges with everyday things, and that can be difficult for a generation. I don't feel that way personally. I feel as though, for us, the generation before, maybe we've dropped the ball on a few things, because life changed with the technological advances, and that happened while we were kind of still growing, and we maybe never grasped it in a way that we should, because we straddled the pre, and then you're in the post, so you're like, ugh, maybe something else will happen, but this is all they know. So they're going with that full hog, and we are kind of maybe looking back and not necessarily going fully into that. And let me qualify that a bit by telling you, I remember when there was, for example, Facebook just started.
Yeah.
And I remember being here at work, and we were discussing whether we were going to put real information into Facebook, because we were not sure of where this information was going. But here you have a generation who have come into something that already is. You're not thinking about what was before or what could be after. This is what they know.
Correct.
So their mindset is totally different. So because of that, is that we are the ones with the challenge? Maybe not going full-fledged into certain things or accepting the changes that they are bringing. Could that be a part of it?
I believe, as you said, that we may have dropped the ball a bit. And I love the generation. I mean, as you said, we straddled both. So we had, you know, kind of the best, if you want to call it that, or worst of both worlds. What I think has happened is that we have to appreciate who they are, where they're at. We have to appreciate the new advancements that have taken place, and we have to guide them. I find we've not done very well, not just in the workplace either, of bridging the gap. So we talk about what was before and how that was so good, but we don't say, okay, well, this is something that's new and this is great, this is exciting, but be careful of this. This is what you need to put in place. So there's no real coming together. It's like kind of a them and us. And I think that that approach is going to provide even more challenges. We need to embrace them. Another thing I'm hearing from their side is kind of a, well, we know it all, you know, you guys were the older generation. And I think in some instances, we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We have to make sure we bridge that gap. There's a connectivity that needs to happen. And we have to do it in a way that is beneficial to all parties. And I think I love AI. I love AI. Chat GPT is my friend, you know, so I think there are things that we can embrace, but also there are things that we need to pass on, and some of those things need to be the good things about our generation.
Yeah, I think there's always a generational gap. That's why there's that term. And, you know, I've been very open and vocal about my own experiences as a young person coming into different workspaces, because I feel like sometimes older people feel like all of a sudden, because you just came in, you know, you must respect me. However, they're not necessarily showing the best face of the organization. So it's all about respecting, for a lot of older people, length of tenure, and not necessarily how you approach doing the job. I think from our end, sometimes we can be a little more open to suggestions. I've heard so many times, this is the way I've done it for the last 20 years. And that's not, it doesn't necessarily say it's the most efficient way.
Correct.
So I think we have to be open to listening as well. But what advice would you give to young people just entering the workspace so they're able to function comfortably and be heard?
Well, I love young people. And I do not believe at all that, you know, they're a lost generation. I think one of the things they have to do, it's all about perspective. One, sometimes they may come in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and thinking, I have this degree or multiple degrees and therefore I expect. I always say to them, first of all, tell yourself when you go into an organization, you're being paid to learn. That's one perspective. You may not get, you know, the high salary that you're looking for, but, you know, be understanding that you're learning. And I know everybody's, you know, you need to have experience and stuff like that. So I'm being paid to learn. Look at it from that perspective. Secondly, I recently did a free course called The Power of Your Ask. You need to know how to negotiate, how to ask good questions. When you go in and things are not the way you think it should be, ask a question. Have an intelligent conversation. Also, you need to know how to regulate your emotions, because sometimes I find, you know, there are, you know, everything for them, they expect it to happen quickly. And you need to understand sometimes things are processed. There's nothing wrong with waiting. So appreciate where you are, put your best foot forward, articulate your ideas. If they're shot down or whatever, it doesn't mean that necessarily persons may not be able to understand, and that's why articulating your point is very important, effective communication. But I believe they have bright, beautiful ideas. They have, of course, more efficient ways of doing things, and I think they should be given a chance to express those.
What role does mentorship play in this? Because you can't necessarily kind of get everything in one fell swoop. But if maybe you have someone to kind of guide you along to ask questions, it might make it a little easier.
Yes, and I encourage organizations to put mentors in place. Seek out those persons that may have, you know, a few more years of tenure, but you see particular qualities in them that they can guide young ones along. You know, there's also this conversation about toxic workplaces, and I think it's important for us to identify and define what that is. That's not necessarily a conversation that you had that didn't go your way. We need to define these things. But I think if you have persons in there that can help a person along the process, where I worked before, I was a mentor. And I still talk to my mentee up to today. We're not working together. We talked about life. We talked about when he was getting married. So these are life skills that you can impart, which in turn helps to permeate the workplace. And I think it makes for a better connectivity, and that's what really needs to happen.
All right, I want to thank you for coming in. I mean, you just raised so many things in that last statement you made, Dawn. But this is why the conversation continues.
It has to continue.
Because it's important for us to at least start these conversations so people think in a certain way. And we know that conversation that the president of HERMAB started about toxic workplaces, it has now gone in another direction. I saw a post yesterday on LinkedIn by the head of another media house looking at it from a different perspective. So that will spark further interest in the topic of toxic workplaces. I myself have my very own views, but great for you to leave us with these takeaways on what young teens can do. And for me, I think it's important. Mentorship is what really comes to mind. So think about that. If you have a little one, a young person just going into a workspace, or if you are a younger person just going into a workspace, it might be good to talk to someone else who's been in the workspace for a long time. So maybe a teacher to start. Once you get into the space at work, you might be able to connect with someone whom you feel like you have, that connection with outside of just work, and you could talk to and confide in and ask questions and get that guidance you need. So thank you again, Dawn Lovell, Training and Development Specialist, for sharing with us this morning.
Thank you, Tisha. It was my pleasure.
Absolutely. Definitely some great food for thought. It's heading up to the 7 o'clock hour, but stay tuned. There's much more coming up here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
All right, time for us to head back online at this time. Just about 14 minutes to go now before 7 o'clock here on Morning Barbados. Now, I met this guy a few months ago officially, but I feel like we've been friends in my head for many, many years. And I'm sure many of you will feel that way as well. Daniel Lovelace now joins us. He's a creator and host. He's the host of What You Know, the series. So good morning to you, Daniel. Welcome to Morning Barbados.
Good morning. How are you doing? I'm good. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Take us back a few years. Where did the idea to do this online series, What You Know, come from?
You know what? You know, as a social experiment, I always, since I was a lot younger, I had a lot of questions about life and wanted to figure out, different things in life. And I decided to, do a social experiment in Port of Spain in 2016, where I would ask people different trivia questions and see what they knew. And when I did it and I put it out there, people liked it, and it went viral almost instantly. So I decided to continue on with the format and kind of make it into something more official. And that was the story of how What You Know began.
I realized very quickly that you had a lot of support from corporate partners. Was it that they came to you, or did you have to reach out to them, or maybe a bit of both?
Well, it was a bit of both, but the way that I got the idea to start including corporate clients in the show was that I would always give prizes from the beginning of the show. So I decided to reach out to a company to firstly give out a phone in the show. And that was the start of, when companies saw that I give out this phone, they would now reach out to want to give away stuff and sponsor different episodes. And that was the inception again, corporate clients.
What was the production like behind the scenes? Were you pulling these questions on your own, or did you have some help? And what was the setup like initially?
In the beginning, I would plan my questions beforehand. So when I would do the show in Trinidad, I would come up with a bunch of different trivia questions related to Trinidad and Tobago, and sometimes trick questions. And I would go out each time with a bunch of like 10 to 20 questions. And this is how I would go out each time to produce the show.
At what point in time did you realize, hey, this is pretty popular?
Well, from the inception of putting it out, when I first put out the first video and I realized, wow, 500,000 views, it was like on my personal profile. I didn't even have like an account at that point in time. So when I put it out, I realized, this just might be something. And at the time I was doing photography, so I decided to stop doing the photography and go into full time doing What You Know.
How did the idea shift from Port of Spain to moving into other places to exploring What You Know, the Caribbean edition?
Well, what happened was that I got a bit tired of visiting different places in Trinidad and Tobago because it became a bit repetitive. So I would go to different places in Trinidad like Arima, Port of Spain, Tunapuna, San Fernando, and I got so accustomed to the places and it became a bit repetitive. And people in the comments would always say, come to Guyana, come to Barbados, come to St. Lucia. And I said, it probably might be a good idea to start visiting other places. So what I started to do was started to take the sponsorship money that I would get at home, and then I now invested that money into travel, and I've never stopped since.
I think what impressed me most about you, Daniel, was that for a lot of us, we go to the internet looking for laughs. So sometimes when people didn't know the answers to the questions and we felt like this is so easy, it felt like a laugh. But you always brought it home by saying this is about teaching other people.
Yeah.
This is about learning. So, you kept it grounded in that way. How important was it for you to be able to put that forward as a part of the show, taking it from the realm of making fun maybe of someone, of people in the public domain, in the public space, and making it educational at the same time?
Well, I would always pay attention to what people would be saying in the comments, and I didn't want to. I still wanted to have somewhat a good purpose, although some people would have seen it as making fun of people. So I tried to time that education aspect in it, where people could still learn something to basically reduce any possible backlash that I would get from the show. But I soon realized that the format still wasn't sustainable, and I still wanted to expand my reach. So I decided to rebrand the entire concept of the show, and that's what brought us to where we are now.
Now, I know you've been in Barbados quite a bit. You've worked with the BTMI, and quite recently you were here and you had an opportunity to do an episode with Edwin and Alison Hines and Peter Ram. Yeah. Are there any most memorable moments that you'd like to share?
one of the some of the most memorable moments I have is building real friendships with these different notable people. What I've realized is that these celebrities, as we see them, they're human beings, and for a long time throughout my career, being in the entertainment business for about 10 years, last decade, I've realized that people sometimes don't reach out to us and say, hey, you're doing a good job, or I'm proud of the things that you're doing, etc. So because I always craved for the admiration myself, and for people to say, hey, you're doing a good job, I decided to flip the script where I would now kind of give people their flowers and celebrate people. And by extension, I'm now celebrated, which I'm very humbled by. But for me, it's more important to give these noteworthy people a platform to share their stories and an opportunity to really feel celebrated. I mean, all my videos that I post now, the comments are strictly positive. People just, all their fans show up for them to let them know how proud they are of them, and by extension, I know I become friends with these people. I mean, before I left Barbados, I had lunch and dinner with Alison Hines, and we really sat and we talked and we got deep. Aside from the performance part of it or the entertainment part of it, I often keep in touch with Edwin. Just yesterday I was chatting with him, and he was so grateful for the support that he was getting from the people, even letting me know that even being in the business for over 20 years, he sometimes even feels inadequate. So I've realized that there is a niche that I wanted to tap into to kind of be there for my fellow brothers and sisters in the industry, and it has been an amazing journey. I think for me, it's just about, just reading the comments, seeing the positive vibes from people, seeing all the admiration and the flowers that people give to people. That just makes me feel so good and makes me feel celebrated. And I'm at a point in my career now where I no longer feel the need to be the star or to be in the spotlight. I prefer put people in the spotlight, and that selfless act makes me feel so good every day. So I take pride in doing my job and just featuring more and more and more people, and it's a pleasure. And I also want to take this time to say thank you to the entirety of Barbados for the support on all the videos, comments, and just the support. I couldn't do it without the support, and a special thank you to the BTMI as well. I've been working with them for the past 3 years, and they didn't bound to keep bringing me back over and over. So I'm really grateful to Alison and the entire BTMI team.
How has this changed your personal life, though, Daniel, in terms of, what you do, just being able to go on a regular day about your business? Because there you were in Barbados having lunch, and I didn't tackle you during the lunch, but I most certainly came over as you were going and told you, well, hey, I recognize you, and I've loved this series for a very long time. So how has all of this fame that you say you're now happy to kind of sit on the back burner, but you can't? So how has this changed, your personal day to day?
I mean, I've been popular for a really long time, so I tend to tell people I've gotten accustomed. I went through all the phases of feeling like I'm on top of the world, feeling the high, ego is up in the air. But I mean, doing it for a decade, I've gotten accustomed to it. I'm back to the ground now. I'm happy to connect with people. So it kind of doesn't matter to me if anything. I'm happy for it. I'm happy for the recognition. I'm happy for when someone comes and they want to take a picture. Those simple things uplift my day. Sometimes even my direct messages on Instagram, where people would reach out and say, you should feature this person. And then when I do it, they send a follow-up message and they're like, I'm so happy I did it. I'm so grateful. So for me, I'm all happy for it. I would stop eating to take pictures with people. I would, if someone calls me to take a picture, I'll go take it. So if anything, it really hasn't changed much. It basically allows me to now amplify my personality and allow people to see my real personality. And this somewhat has always been my personality, but I've never really had the opportunity to showcase what my real personality is because of the nature of the previous format of what, I kind of had to always be something. I always had to be hype and be excited. So every time people see me, they would expect me to be something. But now the character that you see on what and me is just like, it's synonymous. It's the same thing. So my job is even easier now. So I don't even need to do too much. I tell people I'm not even an interviewer. I'm a great listener. So I don't even ask much questions. Sometimes I just say, hey, Edwin, how you doing? Hey, teacher, how you doing? And they just start to talk and start to share their story. So, if anything, I'm just living in the moment. I recently had a spiritual enlightenment as well. So I don't attach myself to any feeling of happiness or sadness. I'm just always in the moment, always in the now, giving my 100% in the now, and it's been an amazing journey.
All right, we expect to see you back in Barbados before year end. Can you share anything about what the plans are? Is there anything in the works, or do we have to wait until you get back to hear about it?
I will be coming back very soon. I tell people that I plan my own schedule, so I'm always just available to go anywhere. I mean, I've been working with Courtyard by Marriott. They want me to come back, so I have 10 days on the inside. So I just need to plan the 10 days when I'm coming. I want to feature a lot of different artists. I've been having conversations with Rupi, Hyper Songs, and a lot of different Bajan artists and entertainers. And I'm always open to featuring people who the fans want to see. So feel free to reach out to me. I'll even feature you as well to hear your story. And I mean, you know, I'm just living, and it's super. I'm super grateful for the support from the entire Caribbean, and you know, I just aim to continue to put out content to showcase the Caribbean, to showcase the Caribbean's finest, and just keep doing the next thing. So I'm not too sure about what that next thing is, but as I say, I continue to live in the moment, just do great content and be a voice for the Caribbean.
And that's exactly what you're doing. The only thing left for us to say is, if you don't know, now you know. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Daniel. Wonderful to connect with you. And the invitation is still open when you're back here to come in and sit with us here on Morning Barbados and maybe do a live edition on air. We'll see. We can talk about that.
Now. Spell the word top for me. Spell it for me. Let me hear you.
Spell the word
top. Top.
Stop or top?
Top. Top.
T-O-P.
Say the word top 2 times really fast.
Top, top.
3 times faster.
Top, top, top.
What do you do at a green light?
Go. You can't get me, Daniel. Come on.
That always works. But I want to say good job, though. You're doing an amazing job. I've been watching your previous 2 interviews, and excellent job. You look nice. Congrats to the team behind the scenes as well, doing the thing. So thank you so much for featuring me. Thank you, Barbados, and thank you is all I could say this morning.
All right, that's Daniel Lovelace, of course, now a Caribbean face for his program that started online many, many years ago. What you know, if you haven't checked it out before, you definitely should get online and see it. It's time for another break here on Morning Barbados as we head up to the 7 o'clock hour. But stay with us, we have lots more coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. It's 7:02. Now the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, they'll be hosting a very interesting discussion coming up soon. It's called Transforming Education, the Journey to Decolonization, Equity and Social Change. It's a public lecture. And delivering that lecture will be Dr. Christopher Emden, who's professor at the Gordon Institute for Advanced Study, Teachers College, Columbia University. We're very pleased to have him join us on Morning Barbados. So good morning to you and welcome to Barbados.
I'm so excited to be here with you this morning.
All right. Now, this seems to be a pretty heavy topic, but we're at the place where there's much talk in the public space across the Caribbean region about reparations and decolonization and the like. So it is a very timely topic. To place it squarely within the realm of where it fits in with where the education system is seems quite a task. So to you, what does this all mean? Transforming education, the journey to decolonization, equity and social change. How are they all linked?
They are they're linked in fabulous and interesting ways. And I don't think it's something that we should perceive as a heavy task. In fact, it's a replication of the conversations we've had even this morning. Our last two guests talks about the challenges with this new generation in the workforce, and this desire to connect the Caribbean to each other and to connect in authentic ways with young people. And in many ways, we do these things in realms outside of schools. So we do it on social media, we do it in workforce, but we don't train teachers and have conversations about the ways that we could reimagine how we communicate with young people in classrooms. And so this lecture is about us really reimagining what we do day to day with young folks in schools. How are we holding up traditions of 50 and 100 years ago with contemporary young people who have a new way of thinking and being and engaging in the world? How are we ignoring social media as an avenue through which young folks feel agency? How are we training teachers? How are we really, imagining the school system in a way that reflects where young people are? And how are we acknowledging the fact that we are inheriting traditions that have not done us well? And then most importantly, how are we dreaming about what a future of Barbados can look like if we collectively focus on education in the next generation?
How do you think how important is it for us to teach culturally relevant information to our students to be able to achieve everything that you're talking about?
The interesting thing is that culturally relevant education has been in existence for a very long time. If you go to the United States or you go to Europe, what you'll find is that the school system reflects the population. The histories of the population is what's being taught. And then we have this sort of Eurocentric approaches to teaching and learning being transplanted across the globe. So in many ways, you'll have in Barbados or in Jamaica or across the Caribbean, a very UK-focused approach to teaching and learning being transplanted into a Caribbean population. And the expectation is that the young folks just pick it up. And so we're saying, listen, if across the globe, folks are aligning their teaching and learning to their culture, why can't our young people have the same kind of education? And so we're saying, we're making an argument for the same models that existed elsewhere existing here, and not us having to align ourselves to other folks' culture, but rather utilizing our culture as the anchor of the instruction. And it's a very challenging thing to make the argument for, particularly because the folks who have been successful in traditional teaching and learning have been successful in an old model. So to say to them, we want to employ a new model for the new generation makes them feel as though you're saying that the education I got was somehow wrong or broken. And that's not the argument at all. We're saying to the older generation, you survived an education that was acultural. You survived an education that did not align to your culture. And we don't want the torture you experienced in your past to have to be a necessary thing for the next generation. What we're talking about in this lecture is not just decolonization, it's an interruption of traumas that historical generations have suffered and used as a badge of honor, and saying you don't have to be proud of being oppressed. You don't have to be proud of having been broken. You should not celebrate the fact that your culture has been lost in your learning, but instead you want to create a next generation that does not have to undergo those same challenges.
Now, how do we kind of break those ties? I would imagine is how you're going to be examining the entire topic through this lecture, because we are so inextricably linked. You know, when we talk about decolonization, there are so many other ways, whether socially and otherwise, so many other ways outside of education, where there are still very strong linkages, not only here in Barbados, but across the Caribbean. So where does education stand to be able to break that mold when there's still so many links happening at the basis of what we're talking about?
Yeah. Well, you know, the magic is, Tisha, the magic is that schools can become microcosms of a world not yet. You know, that's why I love this work. You know, when people ask you questions like, well, how can this happen? What does it happen? It happens in schools. We have this structure that all of the young people come to. And in that space, if we reimagine how we engage in that space, that's where the detangling happens. That's where the reimagining happens. And so when people ask me how is that we transform schools? You ask me how is that we train teachers differently? You ask me how, I say it's through this educational transformation initiative that the Ministry of Education has been embarking on, which is saying we're going to start with our teachers, with our leaders, with our young people, and create this new generation who will imagine it differently. And more specifically, as far as techniques and strategies, that's what this lecture is going to be about. It's going to be about honest conversation. It's going to be about individual responsibility. And it's going to be about collective imagining, and then leaning into this imagination to offer up what a future can look like.
Well, we certainly know that for you, imagining and reimagining and presenting different perspectives is what you do. After all, you're the creator of the hip-hop Edge social movement, and then even the names of your bestsellers, very interesting to say the least, very provocative, and New York Times bestsellers. So we certainly expect that we will see much of what you've shared through your works coming through in the lecture as well.
Indeed, I think that provocation is necessary if you want to sort of move into a different direction. I think that sometimes we are so comfortable with making everyone comfortable in their dysfunction. So a lot of folks just are really happy with complacency and get upset when you're pushing them outside of their norm. But if you do it with love, you do it with clear intention, and you help them to showcase the ways that this is not an attack or an assault on you, but rather a calling out of your best self for what we do for the next generation, I think folks are able to handle that. You know, I think a fear of provocation and a fear of, you know, a challenging book title that might make people a little bit uncomfortable is based on our adoption of an approach to teaching and learning that is necessarily nestled in an archaic model. Respectability is the enemy of any progressive pedagogy. When we attach ourselves to respectability, we are holding up these structures that are literally rotting at their foundation. And if you're holding up a structure that is rotting at its foundation, it will fall on your head and it will kill you. And I really believe that education is the point through which we really shape a new generation and a new future. And I'm excited to be a provocateur that is a provocateur with love. There's a provocateur with research, with experience, with a background that showcases that this is just not an empty, articulation of some radical idea, but a research-based, a deeply studied approach to what it can look like in the future.
You also push STEM and STEAM in a major way as, a way forward toward this end.
Absolutely. I have a science background. I'm an anthobiochemist by training, a master's in the natural sciences. I've done research, mesenchymal stem cell research on the etiology of schizophrenia. And I say all those things to share with people because sometimes when you talk about reimagining, there's a misperception that this is somebody who is just only nestled in the arts and the humanities. And I am deeply entrenched in the value of the arts and humanities, but I come from a very strong science and math background. And I recognize that this approach is actually necessary for creating the next generation of scientists and mathematicians and engineers. I'm a firm believer in moving from STEM to STEAM. which is this incorporation of the arts in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, but also expanding the A in STEAM to include ancestry and authenticity, and recognizing that there's an inherent Bayesian brilliance by function of just being on this magical island that has always produced excellence from the beginning of time, that there are folks on this island that just by walking down the street have a scientific and mathematical sensibility. But when they go to schools that say that your culture is not welcome, they give up their scientific and mathematical intuition and relegate themselves to only being able to be successful in the arts or humanities. And the reality is that those binaries are socially constructed, that one can be a scientist and an artist, a mathematician and a musician. They can be a social media entrepreneur as well as an educator. That this idea that we cannot be interdisciplinary, that we cannot be hybridized in our intellectual selves is one that was sort of promoted by a colonial model. And a post-colonial freedom and emancipation model says that we can be all those things at once and be excellent at them all.
I love that we can't be hybridized. So here we are, hybridized and maybe criticized for it because of that background. We most certainly look forward to seeing you live. For those people who can't make it, though, it's going to be live streamed as well. But you are going to be presenting this lecture tomorrow. What do you hope is the outcome of your presentation?
My goal is always community building. It's for us to realize that 99% of people want the same thing. And sometimes you just need a push in the right direction. And once the push in the right direction comes, we all sort of gather together and we transform education in this amazing and brilliant island. I've been there to Barbados so many times. I have such deep commitments to this island. I'm at the point now where I want to request to be a Barbadian citizen. I want to be Bayesian. This is my desire. And genuinely, my hope is that we all recognize that we have all that we need on our island. We have all that we need in our nation. And once we recognize that and coalesce together, amazing things can happen. And I hope that this lecture becomes a mechanism through which we begin that step in the right direction.
We have all that we need within us. Thank you so much, Dr. Christopher Emden, Professor of the Gordon Institute for Advanced Study, Teachers College and Columbia University. He will be presenting this lecture coming up tomorrow, Thursday, 31st October at the Queen's College School at 6:30 in the evening. He's the keynote speaker, and if you can't physically be there, don't worry. This thought-provoking event will be live streamed at MRD Barbados on YouTube, so you can still get a taste of it. But if you can come out tomorrow 6:30, you should definitely make sure that you make it out, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with the professor otherwise to be able to see how he's enjoying Barbados. He says he wants to apply to be a citizen. We'll see how we can help him with that. Thank you so much for making some time for us this morning.
Of course, glad to be here.
All right, again, come out tomorrow and be a part of that all-important lecture. Once again, the topic is Transforming Education, the Journey to Decolonization, Equity and Social Change. The public lecture tomorrow, 6:30 QC. It's just about 15 minutes after 7 o'clock. Coming up next, we're telling you all about another pork festival and why you should be a part of it. That's next.
The Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training invites you to a free public lecture featuring keynote speaker Professor Christopher Emden of Teachers College, Columbia University. Be enlightened by this dynamic educator and speaker as he explores the topic Transforming Education, the Journey to Decolonization Through Equity and Social Change. This event takes place on Thursday, October 31st at 6:30 p.m. at Queen's College, Husband St. James. Seating capacity is limited, so get there early to avoid disappointment. You can also watch the live stream at MRD Barbados on YouTube. We are at an important and exciting crossroads of self-discovery in education, so we encourage you to join us in Transforming Education, the Journey to Decolonization Through Equity and Social Change, featuring Professor Christopher Emden. We ask you to be seated by 6:15 p.m.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, just after 7 o'clock. Whatever you're doing, it's good to have you in company on this fantastic Wednesday. A former host of Morning Barbados would have said it's hump day. Never really got that because I don't feel like we're anywhere closer to the weekend, but that's okay. I'm joined now by two gentlemen who are here to tell us all about the Pelican Pork Festival. They've already been heavily criticized for showing up to talk about a pork festival. Pork Leslie. I did it. So there. Good morning to Bruce Rowe, who's immediate past master of Lodge Pelican, and Alistair Straker, worshipful senior warden, Lodge Pelican. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alison. Good morning, Barbados.
All right, good to have you with us. Getting the wrong hinds here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you back at CBC, Bruce. So talk to me a little bit about this charitable event that you're putting on. First of all, it's in aid of some very, very worthy causes.
Charity, yes. This came about as a discussion amongst members of the lodge way back in 2015. And then it was put on as a very small event, a pork line, which at that time, basically we just had ham cutters, pork cutters, and some conkies and drinks. And from that small beginning, we develop year by year to where we are at now, and every year we're looking to increase and develop even further our offerings to the public. We are happy too for the way the public have responded and the support that we've gotten from not only other lodge members, but from the public in general. It has become now our major charity event, which we put on every year at the first Saturday in November, which is also our anniversary month.
All right. Now, how did you select the organizations that will be beneficiaries of this particular fundraiser?
Sure. So what we did essentially is one of the major organizations that we sponsor is the Barbados Cancer Society for prostate cancer. And, you know, we are a male organization. Males generally are a little bit skeptical about going forward, getting checked. And we wanted to find a way to promote a healthy lifestyle for males to make sure that, you know, we lend an arm of support. So that was one of the major charities that we actually donate to. Another one would be the University of the West Indies Masonic Charity. Again, where we want to encourage young males in the society to look for positive outlets, and you know, the lodge is about brotherly love, relief, and truth, right? The relief is by means of the charity that we do, and we want to encourage young men to look towards I don't want to say a brighter future to sound, you know, like everybody else, but look towards positive role models and doing for their society, because as you know, the society takes care of you at the end of the day. We also donate to the St. George Primary School, which is in the vicinity of where the Masonic Temple is, and then we donate to Commermere. We donate to, and this is because past members of the lodge actually would have been alumni of Commermere. We donate to the Salvation Army to make sure that those who are less fortunate as well can benefit from some of the proceeds. But essentially, as Bruce was saying, the pork climb was really kind of conceptualized to find a way to have fun, to socialize, have camaraderie, but also for a greater cause, which is giving back.
What are some of the activities we can expect, Bruce, once we come out to the Pelican Pork Climb that's coming up?
We have dominoes, hearts, karaoke, and a variety of pork dishes. The favorite amongst it is the pork done in the China box, and ham cutters, pork cutters. We also serve a buffet lunch. This year we are putting on fried pork and bread fruit. So every year is a little something more adding on. And it's the only place that in Barbados that you can get the cheapest alcoholic drinks at any time.
Sorry, before we go on, Lodge Pelican and the Masonic Body of Barbados encourages you to drink responsibly. You know,
we do.
Put that there. But because lots of the drinks are donated we want to make them at a very affordable price so that you can come and you can enjoy the festival and the offerings with us.
You asked earlier about how we select the charities. The lodge has a general committee, which is comprised of about 12 persons. And members can make recommendation to the general committee. From the recommendation, we will investigate, and then we will select based on our investigation. So it's a process that we follow, which works out well for us, right? So that's how we really select. There's one, the Commermere Scholarship is done, that was done through a former member who died of prostate cancer, and as a result, we took up prostate cancer too as a charity, so we support
I thought that was because of the 12 people on that committee, 11 were from Commermere.
No.
Good morning, Andrew.
No.
No. So as part of our tenants as well too, we run the lodge as an organization and as a group. It is not an isolated, this is what we're doing type of organization. We come together, we cast votes, and also we listen and adhere to appeals that might be coming into the lodge as well, so that we can see who is most in need and how we can assist. Obviously, you can't assist all the time, but we do try to make sure that the most worthy causes that we attend to the best we can.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Wonderful stuff. So it's coming off this coming Saturday over at the Masonic Center at Salters in St. George.
Yes.
And it's from noon till 8 o'clock.
8-ish.
8-ish.
8-ish, because
We're not finished at
we
exactly
always tend
8.
to go past it. There's very
Sometimes
heated, I think Bruce is being a little subtle about this. There's very heated hearts competitions. There's very heated dominoes competition. Think about it as a nice Saturday line where guys and girls come together and they literally are glad to see each other. They enjoy drinks, they enjoy good food, and we have food and ham cutters and pork all the way down to the close of the event. But DJ music is playing. It's a family-friendly event, so lots of people come early, bring their kids. We're happy to give them a tour of the Masonic Temple as well, because a big charge for us as well in the Scottish Constitution is to demystify Freemasonry and just let everybody kind of see that it is not a secretive organization. We are quite open to certain things and displaying, so we give tours of the temple. It's actually a very fun day, but then it gets down to the competitive streak that exists in lots of the Freemasons, and everybody wants to walk away with that Hearts title, that dominoes, 611 and brag. And then we also offer beautiful door prizes as well. So you do get chances every time you buy your $20 contribution ticket. You do get a chance at beautiful door prizes, and like I said, it's a fun time guaranteed.
All right, so it's $20 to get you in.
Yes.
But then you get cheap drinks, right?
Yeah, well, when you $20 to get you, and the first thing you get is
a welcome punch.
A welcome drink, which is blended by a member.
A very prominent member.
A prominent member.
Who knows lots about rum.
Who knows
and
lots
the creation
about rum
and crafting of rum.
and crafting of rum.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's a welcome drink. Then you can buy your drinks. There's also a karaoke going on. Those who can sing can sing. So it's a fun evening.
Yes.
It's a fun evening. And we put a time at 8, but we never finishes at 8.
All right. Well, of course, it's all for a worthy cause. I think that is the overarching thing.
It is.
To be able to come out and fellowship, which I would imagine is what you're all about.
Absolutely.
But also to be able to share with your community.
Yes.
I know there's specifically a UE connection, as you mentioned, but there's a scholarship. If you can tell us a little bit more about that.
So again,
UE scholarship?
Yes.
That is managed by the District Grand Lodge of Barbados.
Yes.
Scottish Constitution. And all of the daughter lodges, Scottish lodges, contributes to that scholarship where we sponsor. I'm not sure if it's the first or second year, but a student at UE.
All right, so definitely lots happening in that area. Yeah? You wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, again, it is all about the empowerment of not just young males, but empowerment of community-based activities that we do. We could not do this without Corporate Barbados, so we need to say thank you to Corporate Barbados, to all of our sponsors who contribute, because it is because of them that we're able to offer the things so reasonable that you can then come and enjoy yourselves. And when we say reasonable, the premium drinks, for example, are $8, which you'd be hard-pressed to go and find Johnny Walker or Hennessy or Stoli vodka anywhere mixes for $8. And the idea is, again, we don't want to kind of break the bank with you. We want to create a nice family-friendly atmosphere that, the parents can come and relax and let down their hair, but they know that the proceeds are going to a good cause. Lots of the members, myself and Bruce included, we're working all from now, and then you'll see us up and down buzzing around to make sure that we also cater to you and make sure you have a wonderful evening. But the idea is that the bigger picture is being able to donate and to contribute to our community and to people in need. So that is why we take such pride in it.
All right, that's wonderful. Now for you, Mr. Rowe, what would you say has been the number one thing that people look out for over the years? The pork cutters or this fried pork and breadfruit that you've been talking about.
That's new.
That's
on the
new.
Menu today,
Okay.
For
He's
this
right, Said
Saturday.
that's new on the menu.
The number one thing that people really go after were the ham cutters and the pork from the China box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every year we have to increase the amount we do of pigs we.
So how many China
roast.
boxes this year? You haven't decided yet.
I think
Well-
we're doing 3.
Correct. So we're
Three
doing
this year.
We're doing 3
You
to
have
4
3.
whole pigs.
He said 3 to 4,
4.
air quotes.
Yeah, the ham cutters are in the hundreds that we actually produce for the event. We have waves of pork is how a good brother of ours described it, waves of pork. So we start you off with your sauce, which is by pre-order. And then by the time the sauce is finished, then a pig should be off the China box. And then by the time that is finished, then we have the buffet that will be open, and then another pig, and then you have more ham cutters, and then in the evening you have some breadfruit and fried pork. And we make sure that we have a feast available. If you come for 12 p.m. or if you come for 7 p.m., you will be entitled to some of the delicacies that we have on offer.
We understand the waves of pork now. You explained it thoroughly. So you definitely should come out for those of you in that area, or if you're even intrigued for, a view of the temple. Of course, it's a grand time to be had by all, but all for a worthy cause.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So make sure you come on out and check it out. I would know a thing or two about this. I did a China box for my last birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of pork in that box.
Yeah, and
So-
it's a long process. So
Yeah.
anytime
Long,
you're
long
able to
process.
have
6
pork from a
hours.
China box,
Yes.
know the person
4
did
to
it with
6
love.
hours. Yeah.
It's
For
a
sure.
long process.
All right, well, congratulations on this event, the Pelican Pork Festival. Again, it comes up Saturday, November 2nd. It's over at the Masonic Center, Salters in St. George, and it runs from noon until...
Thank you.
And proceeds are all in aid of several charitable
Charities,
causes as well. So thank you both for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
And
us.
I'll see you on
Saturday.
Mostly.
All right, it's time for another break, but stay with us. We have a lot more coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I don't know if you've realized, if you've been watching from the beginning of there has been a theme kind of running through the entire show today, film and filmmaking and production and so on. So we certainly hope that by the time we're done, you'll have a greater appreciation for all of that. We're joined now by Melissa Hunt, who's a student filmmaker. And Melissa is here to tell us all about a casting call that's coming up for an episode of Next Door.
Yes, that's the working title.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Great to have you here with us today.
Yes, please.
First, talk to us about your background and what drove you to sign up to be a student at the EBCCI.
Yes, I'm excited to tell you this story. Okay, so my love and passion started in theater. From, everybody has a story of starting at church and they're doing theater. I started there, and then as my passion grew, I got into a lot of different groups. One year, I signed up for camp at the EBCCI, and that is where everything took off for me. From there, I got more of an intimate understanding of theater, and then I went on to going to BCC, and I got my associate degree in theater arts. And over time, I thought, after I left BCC, I thought, oh my gosh, I lost my love for acting. I don't like it so much anymore. And then I realized it was actually my love and passion for theater just transformed into my love and passion for film, because understanding people, capturing moments, recreating and telling stories is all a part of it. So that is how I got into film. And then the Ministry of Youth, they had a program, and that is where I met Ramat Jean-Pierre. And again, he fostered my love for film, and would all the time, any opportunity he had for me to get some experience, he would call me up. And then I signed up for EBCCI, and I've been loving it ever since.
All right, so before we jump into this particular film, you've also participated in NIFCA.
Yes,
you just had the launch of NIFCA. So talk to us about your journey with NIFCA.
Oh, well.
Very successful.
Yes, last year, I entered that's my first documentary actually, and it was a class project. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the feedback that I got from my peers. And I said, let me try entering it in NIFCA. And I did. And the feedback I got was just amazing. And eventually I won the bronze at NIFCA for my film. And I am hoping to enter again very soon.
Now, this particular film you're here to talk about this morning is one called Next Door.
Yes,
and it is set in historic Barbados, back in the 50s.
Yes, please. So this is also another class project. So it's a student film for my class, digital media and cinema. And I like the journey that it takes to create something. So we started off, and our teacher told us, get some inspiration. You can read some books, you can get some Caribbean literature, and get some inspiration from somewhere. And one day he brought in a book, and it had hundreds and hundreds of proverbs. And I was just looking through, I couldn't find anything, and then I landed upon one. It said, children does know their own blood. And it is in relation to, we might know somebody's family without even knowing. We might have that connection, and it's much deeper than, this is my sister, this is blood, this is, So I stuck on that, and it developed from there, and I really want to highlight and tell the story of Barbadian family dynamics and a little historical piece, because I can see it in my head as back then, and I would like to include a lot of different elements, visual elements, to tell that story and make persons feel connected to the time and the story.
All right, so you know, I know character development is really, really important to these types of stories.
Yes,
and when we talk about historic Barbados in the 50s, I mean, even now, we think of all the characters in our various little communities.
Yes.
Was it difficult for you to work through angles like that in developing these people who make up this particular story from the 50s?
That is a good question. It was difficult because this is not my usual mode of storytelling. I don't usually go for very straight narratives. But at the same time, it wasn't difficult to find the characters because theater has opened up my mind to see everybody as a character and to just observe and understand. So I would say that I'm still in the process of developing the characters and knowing what I want my actors to portray, but it hasn't been too difficult because I'm always observing and I'm always appreciative of the different personalities that exist in the Barbadian space. And my hope and passion is to reflect Barbados to Barbadians and make them proud about who they are in the most authentic way possible.
Who are you looking for in this casting call?
Okay, good question, because I need some persons. So one of my main characters is a young boy by the name of Junior, and I'm looking for young boys between the age of 6 and 8. You do not have to have acting experience. I think there's a beauty that comes with those who don't have experience performing. I'm looking for any young boy around that age to bring life to this character. I think the character doesn't have a lot of lines, but his presence and the emotion is very important. I'm also looking for
Marsha.
Marsha, yes. Marsha is a young lady that in the story we'll see the line, children does know their own blood. So I'm looking for a very beautiful little girl, and I mean beautiful in the sense that she is the typical Bajan little girl, you know, has her hair, you know, when your mother does your hair, she brush it in two, and she has big eyes, and she's just excited and happy to be in the world and learn and experience. So I'm looking for a young girl as well from the age of 6 to 7.
6 to 7.
Yes, please.
For that character.
Yes, and then there's Sandra. She's the mother of Junior, and she's around the age of 35 to 50. It's a kind of wide range, but I'm looking for somebody, you know, just to bring that motherly feel to the film. And there's another young lady by the name of Yara, and the age range is from 17 to, I think, 25 to 30. Yes.
All right, so you're looking for, what, is that 5 major characters?
Yes. Yara, Sandra,
Junior,
and Marsha. That's 4. There's another character, but I think I've already casted that role.
That one.
Yes, please.
What are you hoping to come through? You know, in presenting this film? I know it's your school,
yes,
but even your approach is just, you know, so out there already.
Yeah.
I guess it's because you were able to take in a win at NIFCA with your last school project. You know, so, you know, what are you hoping to be able to put forward with this particular film?
Okay. Well, it's so out there already because I have a strong passion. And as I said earlier, to reflect Barbados to Barbadians. So when I create this film, I want it to be something that I'm proud of, that I can show the world, and also that Barbadians are proud of and they see themselves in their stories. So with this film, I'm not necessarily looking to win any awards. The award is getting the love from those who watch it. I would love every Barbadian to see it and say, yo, that happened for true. So-and-so down the street, I remember, that's so similar. You know, if they see like a Paradise Plum in my film, like, I remember eating them. Or a biscuit tin with break-up biscuits. Like, I want Barbadians to feel proud about what I've put out there for them.
Not a biscuit tin with break-up biscuits.
I learned about that the other day. I was talking to my aunt and she was telling me, yeah, girl, and we would go down by the shop and buy some biscuits. And I'm like, you buying break-up biscuits? This is a thing?
They were cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm learning, and I would like to put that and have that discovery for a lot of persons who are like me who would not have known about that stuff.
I'll tell you something else. Going to any Bajan home, rural, urban, or otherwise, and you find a biscuit tin, and it will be everything but biscuits in it.
That goes across the Caribbean. Like, you're looking for butter, you're looking for butter, it's food in the container, or the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother's biscuit tin back in the day was a sewing kit.
Yeah.
These days she's graduated to some kind of plastic container, but back in the day it was definitely the biscuit tin. I can see that you're also enjoying every stage of this.
Yes.
Where are you hoping to take this passion, this love for creating film?
I don't see myself doing anything else. And I think one of my driving forces in life is passion. So I want to go as far as I possibly can. I want to change the understanding and change the way that we view film and we view art. I'm learning a lot about our responsibilities as artists. And I just want that we know that we can create something great that isn't only Hollywood type of cinema. We have our own stories to tell, and we can create our own techniques to tell those stories and create a whole different space for ourselves. So I want to be one of the persons in the making of a whole different space in film and digital media production.
How much of your personal experience and knowledge and people you engage with, how much of that is a part of Next Door? Because you already started talking about Auntie telling you about the breakup biscuits.
Yeah, how do I put this? Family dynamics is a very important thing. Yeah, and you would sit at the table while you're gathering with your family. You hear a lot of stories. When you get older, you get more privy to certain things. And I think that I'm always pulling from stories that I hear and experiences. So I would say it's a good, healthy mix of my own experiences and hearing the experiences of persons close to me.
When are you hoping to go into production, and when can we expect to see this blockbuster of a film, Next Door?
Okay, so it's a short film, and I just want to put that out there. Blockbuster, yes, it's going to be great. Well, I'm hoping to start production. I think it is the 9th, if that's I think the 9th of...
That's a Saturday.
November? Yes. 9th of November,
Yeah.
yes, please. But right now I'm in the process of trying to lock down location and build my team a little bit stronger. So I have some persons already reaching out to be a part of my production team. We have to submit this and screen it, I think, early December. So you can come out to the Arabara Center for Creative Imagination when we put out our flyers, and come and watch the films. I have about 3 or 4 other classmates that will be putting on their films as well. So I would hope that Barbados comes out to support them.
All right. I can see your passion for what you do. And as you said, passion drives you. So,
Yes, please.
That's all that matters. I look forward to seeing this film. I'm really excited about Next Door now, especially as we get ready to celebrate our independence
yes.
as well. As she came, together, we're all the independence colors.
Period.
Blue, yellow, and black. Put it up. Okay? All right, so thank you so much for coming in, Melissa, and sharing with us. I wish you the very best on your journey. Seems you're having a fantastic time at the EBCCI as well.
Yes.
So we look forward to this film. And who should they contact? How can they get in contact with you? Those people who are saying, I know this character you're talking about. This little boy is Junior. This girl is so-and-so. This boy is so-and-so. How do they get in contact with you?
Okay, so the first thing that you can go to is my Instagram. It's called Maisa Media, MAI.SUH_media. You can also contact me at melissa.hunt@hotmail.com, melissa.hunte@hotmail.com. On my Instagram, I have in the links in my bio where you can register for the auditions, and I'll be sending out an email shortly letting you guys know where the auditions will be held once I have the location locked down.
All right, good stuff. So if you think that's you, or you know of someone who would make a good character in this short film, being done by Melissa Hunt, who's a student of the Arabara Center for Creative Imagination, then get online and make that nomination. All right, thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
infectious energy, love it. It's time for a break, just about 10 minutes to go before the 8 o'clock hour, but we still have to review some food and some rum. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We have only 7 minutes left in the show, but we definitely had to do a little review. For those of you who missed the Food and Rum Festival in 2024, you missed a big deal. It was fantastic from all accounts. All of the events were pretty much oversubscribed, and they were well attended, and people had a fantastic time. Now, first up, there was Rise and Rum, the breakfast beach party. And when you think premium, all-inclusive, this is the height of luxury. It means great cuisine, it means good entertainment, it means lots and lots of fun, and of course, beautiful beaches.
One thing that I know when festival time come wrong again. When the soca music hit, you know that you feel no pain. All my people, represent with your hand in the air. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up.
Festival is the time we love to meet up with all my friends. Once music, liquor and gal out there, the fun never ends. Soca people, represent with your hand in the air.
When we come together, the party does come alive. Cause you, me, we are the heart of the party.
It could be a live or a vet. Be ready to sweat. Is action you want, then real action you go get. Cause you, me, we are the heart of the party.
And we keep it pumping, pumping, pumping.
Cause we got the drinks beating, all up when our bumper beating, energy and vibes beating.
I don't know if you realize, but the wear was yellow and everybody came out to welcome the sunrise. Beautiful event it was. Then on Sunday, they said goodbye to the 2024 Barbados Food and Rum Festival under the wings of the iconic British Concorde, British Airways Concorde, for Liquid Gold Feast. And it is, as the name suggests, from the very first feast table all the way through to the exquisite cocktails to the decadent desserts. The patrons spent the night indulging in sheer decadence.
I just wanna take you home. Throw your hands up in the sky. Let's set this party on fire.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do?
24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe so clear.
Look out! Pop, pop, it's showtime. 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 Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. Downtown. Oh, they don't know. Downtown. I bet they know as soon as we walk in. Showed up. I'm wearing Cuban links. Yeah. Designer mix. Yeah. Inglewood's finest shoes. Whoop, whoop. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Know to give the color red the blues. Woo! Kill 'em. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jumping. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do?
24 karat magic in the air.
Ah, what a fun time. If you missed it this time, there's always 2025. There will, of course, be lots and lots and lots of events coming up on the calendar that you can look forward to. Today is National Publicist Day, so I want to say a special good morning to all the publicists out there representing and managing the images of people and projects and sports teams, and public relations managers are often tasked with bringing information and building excitement with the public and for companies and so on as well. So a special good morning to you. A lot of the work that you do is behind the scenes, but you make the people and the organizations that you represent look good. So, a big shout out to you today for all of the work that you do. Coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, we're talking beach wrestling. How about that? It's back, and we're going to tell you maybe how you can get involved. We have a fella here that we'd like to nominate to go and represent for us in the category of beach wrestling. As a matter of fact, there are 3 fellas I can think about. There's Ruel, there's Brown, and there's Peter. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be able to explore that more tomorrow. Plus the I Am conference that was put on by the Ministry of Youth. We're going to do a big review on that to find out more about what happened at the conference and what are some of the outcomes. It was a one-stop shop, more or less, for young people to come on through and find out about the world of work and all of the other ways that they can get ready for life generally. So we're going to review that all coming up tomorrow here on Morning Barbados. I won't start to sing. I can't remember what else there is. But if you want to find out, you definitely have to tune in. So thanks for spending a little time with us today, welcoming us into your home. Remember, you can find us wherever social media is found. We are also going to be heading out on Friday for the lighting ceremony. Don't forget the lighting ceremony, the National Lighting of the Nation. That is on Friday. It will be live on TV8 from 5 o'clock in the evening. And there's a twist this year. Shirley Chisholm's centenary is coming up. So there will be an element that includes the school that's her namesake as well. That's it from us for today. Again, thanks so much for sharing with us. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow right here on TV8. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up.